We saw previously how we can use the plus sign to concatenate strings together. An alternative to this is using a concat method on these strings. So dot concat with parentheses will effectively do the same thing. So for example, if we have a string x hello world and we say x dot concat, this is my variable's value. What this will do is it'll grab x, which is hello world, and it'll concatenate this is my variable's value, and it'll return that string that's hello world space, this is my variable's value. So since this returns it and doesn't really do anything with that string, we have to put it back into this x. So x.concat, whatever it's concating, is not actually changing x here on the right side. It's only returning a value. So when we say x equals that return value, then effectively we are updating what x was. But keep in mind that if you didn't have x equals here and you just ran the code x.concat, this is my variable's value, it's not actually going to change what x is. It's just going to return what x would look like if we concatenated this is my variable's value. I'm going to show an example of this in the code in a few videos, so if this didn't make too much sense, don't worry. All you need to know is that .concat is an alternative to using the plus sign. Now, it's not the best, and you should probably try to use the plus sign normally because concat has an issue where you can only pass in strings. So previously we saw that we were able to add in an integer into our string if we wanted to using the plus sign. Here, when we use concat, we can only concatenate strings to other strings. So we can't pass in a variable. So for example, int my variable equals 5, that's an integer. We can't pass in 5, or sorry, we can't pass in my variable, or we can't pass in 5 either, into these parentheses because it won't work. The only thing that would work is if we put a quote and we put the digit 5 in the quotes in here. So for example, as you can see on the bottom, x.concat my variable is not going to work because my variable is of type integer. But if my variable was instead of type string and it said my variable here and then it said quote 5, then we would be able to say x concat my variable and we wouldn't get an error. Concat is just one operation that string has. There's quite a few. Here are some other important ones. The first one is length. So if we say x.length, it's going to return the number of characters in the string. So for example, if we come back here, we would actually, if we had x.length, we would actually just count how many characters, including the spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and we have a space at the end, 29. So this would actually print out 29, just counting through the string. Replace returns a string with all the instances of A with B. So you pass in a character here and you pass in another character here. And it has to be a char, so you have to put it in single quotes. And what it'll do is it'll go through the whole string, and any instance of the first character, it's going to replace it with this second character that you pass in here. So if I say x.replace A with B, then everywhere there's an A, it's going to return a string with having B anywhere where it had A. Substring is going to return a substring of the string from the first index to the last. So it'll grab a piece of the string and return that. So if you say from the beginning to the end, it'll grab the whole string. If you say from index 0 to 3, it'll grab those letters. So I'll explain a little more about indexing when I show an example with code for this. To lowercase just returns the string with all the characters in lowercase, and to uppercase, it returns a string with all the characters in uppercase. So here we have a few examples. We have string, my string equals hello world. So length here would return 11. So if you type in my string.length, it's going to give you the length. So you can put this into a variable, or you can put this in a system.out.print statement and it'll actually print out this 11 for you. Either way, you can also put the variable length into system.out.print after you do this, and you'll be able to see that it's 11 when it prints it out. If we have hello world and we replace capital H with lowercase h, what this will return is hello world with a lowercase h. Remember, before it was uppercase. Additionally, if there was more capital H's in hello world, it would also update those other h's to be lowercase h. Substring is going to grab from 0 to 5. So the way indexing works is that this first letter is going to be 0. The second letter is going to be referenced by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So when we say substring from 0 to 5, we're really saying from 0, which is H, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the space at the end, 5. So it's actually not going to grab the last one. It's going to grab from 0 up to 5, non-inclusive of 5. So it's going to grab H, E, L, L, and O. To uppercase is just going to change all the letters to be uppercase. So you see here, hello, all in uppercase. And to lowercase is going to make everything lowercase. So it'll all be in lowercase.